So basically, a couple of years ago, you must have seen Foursquare and thought, there's more to this that's possible. Was that the origin of the idea?
So Scavenger actually got started a couple months before Foursquare launched, and the assumption, believe it or not, and now it has sort of come to reality, is that Facebook was gonna do something with location-based social networking, and they have, and we always assumed that when it came to location-based and social networking, the hard part wasn't the location, it was the 500 million users. And what we wanted to do is something actually pretty fundamentally new. We get grouped in with the Foursquares and Goallas and Loops and Worlds and Rumbles, and yes, there are absolutely a lot of similarities, but what we're trying to do is take this theory of enabling the game mechanics that motivate billions and billions of hours of gameplay in virtual worlds and bringing those into the real world. We think that the last decade was the decade of social, where we very effectively digitized social connections, but the next decade is not the decade of social. That's already been built. There's already a framework. It's called Facebook. The next decade is the decade of games, where rather than trying to traffic in social connections, we actually digitize human motivation. And we wanted to build a framework for that. And so we decided we'd build one big game and one big game engine.
So is it something you think, when we talk about game mechanics, we understand the value of checking in. So if you're checking in with Foursquare or Goalla, you get to have a permanent record of the fact that you went there, just like a photo. You get to tell your friends where you are at that very moment. You get to see where your friends are. If somebody happens to be in the airport at the same time, you get that serendipity, although it doesn't happen too often. But now you're talking about, okay, I want to make a game out of, taking a picture of the Eiffel Tower or making origami out of your burrito, tinfoil, or all this kind of stuff. Who's that going to appeal to? Is that like for kids? Is it for young adults? And is there an age divide here? Because it seems to me many adults might be like, hey, I'm not really interested in doing this kind of silly game stuff. I got work to do. I got a family. Is this relegated to teens and young adults?
Sure. So it's a great question, and I'll give some data to sort of point out where scavengers come from. And quick history on that. We spent our first year and a half building out the game engine side of things, and only launched into the consumer space about 23 weeks ago now. So what we found is that Scavenger tends to appeal to people based on where they're playing. We've got a pretty wide demographic of people who are playing, and in our first 20 weeks, we went from 0 to 500,000 players, and we're now about 600, north of 600,000, aiming to be at 1 million by end of year or early next. And it's not just kids by any means. Actually, our core demo, while there are wide tails, is sort of the 17 to 34 crowd that tends to be adopting this type of stuff. And what we've found is that the casual nature of Scavenger, the fact that it can be just a 6-second experience, and lots of people check in on Scavenger and get the utility out of that, but the fact that it can go a bit deeper with these things that are custom built to be relevant to that place. And yes, the examples I gave were a little bit gimmicky just to sort of push the idea of what you can do with that. But most of the challenges, most of the custom things to do at places are really just fun, additional scripted activities that might take you an extra 6, an extra 10 seconds, but are much more relevant, much more real to that location, and a little bit more fun than just hitting a button everywhere you go.
You've been watching This Week in Startups. To watch the full episode, click here. To check out some other shows from This Week In, click here.